Hello, welcome to Scalemodeling, and welcome to part 12 of our 1-200 Yamato build. And let's, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and notifications so you get notified of when the videos come out, which is at least once a week at the moment. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and your comments are welcome. If you think of anything you want to suggest or whatever throughout the video, you're welcome to put that down in the comments. So as we can see here, we've got the deck down on here. Now I know we're working on the superstructure, and this has been sitting up out of the way for about a week almost, and I just want to show you what's been happening. So if we take a look here, have a look at that. So all that, all the way along there, has lifted. Okay, let me just find something I can maneuver that with. Where'd they go? Tweezers. There we go. So all the way along here, here it started to lift. I'm going off camera. It's not too bad there, but down under here, all this here is lifting. That's lifted. As far as I can see, everything around there is okay, although we've got a bit of lifting going on down on here too. Okay. All here, all along here is coming up, and here. You can see that there. It's all lifting up there. So yeah, just a word of warning. For some reason, that forecastle deck or that front area has been fine all along. I haven't had to touch that. So obviously I'm going to have to go along with glue and glue all that down. But just if that happens to you, if you're using this deck, let me know if you have a similar problem. Obviously the adhesive on the back of it was not good enough, and I'm going to have to go along, and particularly along there, it's quite bad, isn't it? I mean, it's not, you know, it's an easy fix, but still, we don't want this happening, do we? So yeah, so I'm going to do that now. I'll use my, I mean, you can use any wood glue, but this works fine. I mean, certainly the areas where I have been using my ultra glue are not lifting, they're glued down. It's not a problem. I've got this quite well and truly watered down, so I can let that run under there. I'll use a small paintbrush to get underneath and layer it everywhere I want it. It cleans up really well and it dries clear, so no problem. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you that. That's what's happening with the deck. And yeah, otherwise everything else is looking really fine on there, no problems at all. Now what I'll do now is I'll bring up the Anatomy of a Ship book, and I'll show you what else I need to be doing throughout this video and probably the next video. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Hello, welcome back everyone. So I just wanted to show you a bit of an update. What I've been doing is I did all the portholes. The reason I got the book down here is because I already put the ship back up away where it's safe. But what I've done is I've filled in all the portholes with my MIG ammo canopy glue. I mean, you can do this with other types as long as it dries clear, and I've used this on all my models, and this will give that window effect. So you get this nice glint. I'll put a couple of some pictures up and you can see how it went on and how it looks, and how it looks when it's done. And all my ships are done like that. It's a nice little easy thing to do. It makes quite a big difference on your model, just to get that porthole glass effect in there, and it looks quite good. Simple, just using a toothpick with a tiny bit on there. You water this down because this stuff comes really thick in the bottle. You would never use it straight from the bottle. It's like, well, it's not cement, but it's very thick. So all you do is just water it down and to the consistency that you want, which to me was, I think I showed you when I was doing some photo etch. It's pretty much, get this out of the way, I don't want to spill anything on it. It's pretty much just like, you know, like that really. And it'll just sit there on the end of a toothpick like I have done there, and just touch it on the hole and it fills it in. So I'll do that throughout the whole superstructure as well, where I've been drilling holes for portholes. So yeah, can't well. Also, in the mail today, I was running short of blades for my icky sticky knife here, and ordered some, so I got a 50 pack, so plenty of blades for cutting, especially for that photo etch. You want to keep them sharp, and I won't be running out of that. Also got the delivery today of the Outlaw paints. Jason up there's sent me down the white that I wanted, and an extra bottle of black primer, which will always come in useful. And the white will be, I'm going to do a few tests with that and try and just lighten the grey, IJN grey a little bit on that forecastle deck, like it is in the pictures. I'll bring that model, the anatomy of the ship, back up, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I'm trying to show you without too much glare, but you can see how that looks a lot lighter on that deck there. It was actually not painted, it was covered in zinc. Don't know why, but it was covered in zinc. So that's what I want to do. That's the Yamato from 1941. If you're doing it 1943, there it is looking the same. It's still painted like that. And then over to 1944, and it's still the same. All right, now I don't want to do it quite that white. I just want to sort of ghost the grey down a couple of tones. The decking that I ordered from 3D Wild came with all the masking, so I'll be able to mask up the areas under the anchor chains. All that area, I'll be able to mask that up. I will have to mask myself some other areas, and I'm just going to give it a mist coat after I blend some of this Outlaw Paints white into it. So I'll be hopefully doing that in this video, but otherwise, yeah, it's looking okay. Let me just move this out of the way and I'll show you what else I'm up to. Okay, so here's this piece that we're working on at the moment. It's looking quite nice. You'll notice I've done all the binoculars all in the top there. They're glinting a little bit there because I did them with the gunmetal grey. You probably won't see this. I showed you before how once this top goes on, once this goes on here, you're not going to be able to see much at all. And of course, all those windows will also be filled in with this to give the glass effect, along with these windows all down there. Okay, welcome back again. So here's where we're up to. So we're working on this. I've taken all the parts off that are required for the rest of step 52. So we've got a couple of platforms that need to go on each side. Some covers, I think, go on here. This piece here had a bit of photo etch. I just glued that on there for a doorway. That actually sits right on the front there. It's going to go pretty much just in there like that. That's it. So we'll attach that. I'm just letting that dry a bit longer. We've got these two little platforms that go either side of here, and they come with a bit of photo etch that goes over the top of these bits that stick out here. So there's our two little bits of photo etch, and yeah, that's it. That's all we need for that. So I'll go and put the top on, because that's got to be placed on now that we've painted it in there. And we'll put this on the front. That's going to go on there. And we'll come back after I've put a few bits on, eh? All right, we'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So step 52 is done. Just glued all those pieces on and come up looking really good. But this is nowhere near complete. We still have to go on to the next step, which is more of this, which will be step 53. I'll put that up in the corner here. And as you can see, there's a ton of stuff. So let me take a quick look. Let me bring the instructions over in front of me here too. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we've got a lot more to do on the superstructure here. We're building up onto the bridge area. And there's some protruding platforms to go out like this that we need to put on. There's some photo etch to go with that. There's lots of other little platforms that will go out there, most likely carrying antennas of some sort or lights. It does look like there may be lights going on them. More photo etch, quite a lot of photo etch throughout here. And there's definitely a light down there. So it looks busy. It looks quite a lot going on, but in reality, it's a lot of small pieces that I need to work through. Now, another good thing to have on hand here, if you have it, is the anatomy of a ship. I'll just bring that up, because in the anatomy of a ship, we get some really good reference shots here. Trying to get that so you can see there. So here's the Yamato front view of the superstructure 1/200 scale. So that's looking right up to what we're going to be building. There's a view of the platforms looking down. We've got the rear view of the tower bridge area. More details here. There's a signal platform, 112. That would be, this one here's a signal platform. So that's probably where I saw some lights. And then over the page, I think it was this way, there was quite a good photograph of it. No, it was this way. Fine, there we go. So this is pretty much the area around the bridge here that we just made. There's all our struts and bits of photo which we put underneath. There's the part up above we haven't yet done. That will be done in this step 53. There's obviously more binoculars up there. There looks like a light over here, signal light. Looks like the ship's horns, which I can just make them out on either side. And there's another view of it looking from a bit lower down. So good reference to go back and look at to see the detail. So looks good. The rigging's going to be a nightmare, I can tell you. All right, so I'm going to get some more parts off the sprue, get some photo etch out that needs to be done, and we shall return shortly. Okay, welcome back again. So I'm progressing through step 53 here. I've just stopped and thought I'd show you. I didn't take all the parts off because there's too many small parts, so I'm just working through it in the correct order. So as you see, I've got these platforms sticking out here, and they've just been glued on, so I'm going to be a bit careful. If you turn them over, you'll see there's photo etch along there, and they're actually lights. They're all lights under that. And also under this one, there's a couple of little supports, and there'll be also two on either of these as well, which I'm up to now. Those will be parts photo etch 18 and C18 and 19, and they go in there. They're just also part of the structure supports under there. And then I turn it back over, and there's a few parts that will need to be cut off the sprue that are platforms that need to be put on various places. But that's how it's looking at the moment. Now, obviously, because of the way this thing is, I'm going to have to be very, very careful. There's going to be a lot of parts sticking out from this at all angles. So handling this will be kept to a minimum. And like I always do, I always keep it on this piece so I can move this around rather than have to touch this too often. All right. So yeah, I'm going to put those struts on under the two larger ones and then move on and get some more pieces off. Looks like the E-sprue for more little platforms that go around it. Okay, back once again shortly. Okay, welcome back. Thought I'd just stop in my progress just to point out a couple of things here and a tip. If you're doing this section here, there's a machine gun. There's two machine guns that are sitting on platforms on either side of the structure we're building here. And they're very tiny. There they are there. All right, so there's bit of photo etch. So we've got the base there with a bit of photo etch that sits down in that checker plate area, which is actually down in there. It'll just sit on in there. But what I want is I want that gun to be painted a different color, whether it's going to be a gunmetal or whatever. I want it separate. I don't want it to be on there when I'm spraying everything black primed and then IGN grey. So what I'm going to do is I'll install the mount, which is the lower part. I'll put that down in position, but the actual gun itself that I'll most likely do with the darker color, I will keep that separately. I'll put it in one of the little plastic and table containers. I'll label it step 53, and I'll be able to do that one separately and put it down into position separately. Also, the fact that if that was mounted down in there, it would make it a little bit more difficult because that area is all checker plate, and I'm fairly sure that needs to be done the darker grey, like I've been doing the other areas around the place on the turrets, or the bases of all the anti-aircraft guns. So we'll see. I'll check the paint guide, but I'm fairly sure that that area needs to be different, the darker grey. All right, so just thought I'd let you know that's what I'm going to do. The instructions are a little bit tricky, but you can work out that you don't need to bend any photo etch here. It goes on the way the shape it is straight onto that. So yeah, I'll be keeping those two bits off separate, and this may happen in a few points along this as I go. I'm not sure how many more guns there may be on here, but I'd like to keep them a little bit separate so I can give them extra detail. All right, but mainly it's because I want to paint that in there grey. In fact, I'll just go and check right now. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've just checked the painting guide, and it's difficult to make out, but then when I've gone back to the book, Anatomy of a Ship, and looked at it there, and it does seem to be just the IGN grey. It's not a darker grey, that platform. So that being the case, I can just put this gun straight in and paint it all IGN grey, and then I'll come in with a brush and just do the barrels of the machine gun in a darker colour. Just a slightly darker color, just to make so they just stand out a little bit, just a little bit of contrast. Okay, so all good. It's all going to go on there now. Okay, I will continue on, and I'm getting there. There's still a fair bit to go on. I've got these two sections, these instructions here to do yet, and this part here, a few more pieces to go on, and then we'll be over on to step 54. But I'll come back when we're done on step 53. We'll have a look and review what I've done, unless something comes up that I find is important to point out. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So taking a step back from working on this and going back to step 37 where we were doing the rope reels that go across the deck around the area where the breakwater is. And I posed the question in the last video about who could give me ideas what to use to put around these to make them look like there's some rope on them. And I want to put a big thanks out there to all those who suggested embroidery thread. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'll put a photo up in the corner here and you'll see how really nice this stuff is. It looks just like thread. It's also looks like rope. It's also rubbery a bit too, so it stretches, and it's the right color, even brown. So fantastic. I managed to get down at the local Spotlight, which is a store that has all sort of craft stuff in there and that, and yeah, they sorted me out with that. Perfect. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to the reels here. I'm putting them together, but I'm not gluing them, so the spindles are sitting on the frames. They're not glued. I'm going to paint them, and then I'll take them off. I'll put this around and pop them back on, and they'll be done. But there's quite a few to build. So these ones were, let me just bring the instruction image up in the corner there, step 37. So as you can see, I've done the first two in the top right there, and now there's another 3 to make, which I think are a bit bigger, I hope. Then there's another 5 to make, which are bigger again, so that's good. They just get bigger as they go, going by the pictures anyway. Let's hope so. I think they are. We go down to another 4 of these ones, and then another, is it 2? Doesn't really say. But looks like there's about another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like there's possibly another 13. Great, that'll take me a bit of time. So yeah, I will get them done. I'll build them. I'll put them all on here. I'll paint them. We'll come back when I'm attaching the thread. In the meantime, we may cut back to a bit of this, but I'll try and get all these reels done, and we'll get some thread on them and see how they look. All right, we'll be back shortly. Well, not so shortly for me, but shortly for you. Back soon. Okay, I just thought I'd show you here. I've done first 2, then I've done the next 3, and I'm doing these 5. Fortunately, they get bigger as you go, which is good because it makes it easier. So I'm doing these 5, and then I'll have about 5 more to go. So I'll get them finished and be back soon. Okay, welcome back. So there's all our reels all put together, all the different sizes. Well, except one I just knocked. I'll put that back together. They're not glued, so I can slip these back in after I've put the thread on there. But you can see how they get larger as they go until a bigger one in the center of that breakwater. Yeah, so I'll fix that one back up again. But other than that, I'm going to go and put some Outlaw Paints primer on this, let that dry, put some IGN grey on there, let that dry, and then I'll slowly take off these reels and we'll put our thread rope on. Okay, so I'll be back when I start doing that. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So here they are, all the reels. They've been clicked, they've been primed, and also done in their final IJN grey from Outlaw Paints, and they look really nice, eh? Really nice. I love the way that paint goes on. So there they are, ready now for the thread to go on. I will start with the smallest first, and hopefully, and it looks like they do, the spindles still spin around. which is what I wanted them to do, so that I can roll that thread on. It's going to get, it'll start off very hard with the small ones, and it'll get easier as the bigger ones go along. Some of these final last 2 or 3 have these extra little posts that need to be attached. So I had to spray them separately, because if I attached them now, I wouldn't be able to get these reels off, and I'm still not sure whether I'll need to take them off to attach the rope or not. But anyway, so I'm going to make a start on the first little ones here, and we'll come back and have a look at how that went, and I'll let you know if I had any problems or not. Hopefully not. Okay, back shortly. Okay, so I got the first 2 done. It was a struggle. They're quite small and fiddly, but I do know that it will get easier. So as these reels get larger as we go along, no problem really. Just make sure if you're doing it like this, you do glue those end pieces to the spindle really well, because you're handling them a lot as you're trying to hold it and roll this on. If one of them comes off, you're in trouble. Plus, this is elasticized as well. It stretches. So a couple of times while I'm rolling it, it slipped out from under my finger and all came unwound. So yeah, had to start again. But like I say, as the piece gets bigger, it's better. I'll put a picture up there in the corner so you can see better, because it's too small down here to look at. And you know, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but from arm's distance, or even from half elbows distance, they look quite good. And as they get larger in size, I think they'll look even better. So what I'll do is I'm going to go and do the whole lot of them now, and we'll come back. We'll have them all placed out on this lid and labeled, and we'll probably put them on the ship. What do you reckon? We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. All right, we're back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I finally got them done. Took a few hours, but they've come up really well. Hey, I'm really happy with them. You might notice that I've left some with some extra rope hanging off, because I might just curl them around on the deck a bit. We'll see how that goes. But there's the option there. But yeah, there they all are. So now I might as well put them on, hey? There's no reason why not to. So I'll go bring our deck down here, and let's put these things on and see what they look like. Be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. So there's all our reels are on. I'll put a picture up so you can see a little bit clearer. The ropes, I'm not sure if I'll leave them that long, but they will eventually be wound a little bit and then glued down flat on the deck, but I think they look good. Another little tip, if you use, well, thin CA Iggy stickies, what I'm using, and just touch a bit of that onto the rope reel itself, it darkens the rope a little bit brown, and it looks really good, and at the same time it seals it in. None of it's going to come undone, and they look really good. I've done the other stern end of the ship. Let me just turn this around carefully. There they are there. Excuse me. So we got the 2 there, the 2 on there, and there was also 2 on the actual stern of the deck, stern deck as well, which I've put them on the ship now. So yeah, they came up really well. I'm happy with that. Thank you for all the suggestions on using this this thread here, and very good stuff. Very, very good. I'll certainly get a lot of use of that in the future. Embroidery thread was the name I was just trying to think of. Okay, so now I'll move all this out of the way, and I guess we'll see where we're up to on the instructions now that we've completed step 37, 38, and 39. Completely done now with all those rope reels on the deck. Excellent. All right, back shortly. Okay, so we're back on to building up the bridge superstructure here. And this is the last few parts of photo etch of step 53. Then we'll move on to 54, which is just more of this, more adding to this. So yeah, we've got this section here. It's a grill that sort of goes around there. There's a photo etch wall, goes in there. There's a stairway, which you can see the hole in there. It's got a pop in there, so we're really only going to see the top of the railing out the top of there, although looking through the windows we will see it if you look closely in there. So there's another thing that I may have to, well, I'll definitely have to give that a spray of paint before we put that in, obviously because paint won't get through and it'll glint in there like it shouldn't. All right, so I'm going to get these done. How's that? I'll get these done, put them on, and then we'll come back and then we can take a look at what's in step 54. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, back again, and we've finished step 53. There's that piece on there, and there's that photo etch wall in there. Went on quite simply, and the stairs going down through the hole there, glued in place. Done. So now we need to do some more binoculars, go all the way around here, which I've made a start on. I'm taking them off here. There's a couple of spotlights or signal lights, I guess they would be, go up on the top here. Then we also have, I'm thinking they're range finders. I'm not sure. We'll get to them, that go down here on the sides, on both sides. But you'll see them there in the instructions up in the corner. And we go right across to, looks like the ship's horn, or horns. There's 2 on each side of the bridge area here, with another platform that gets attached. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do all this, a few bits to put together. Not so much photo etch. I don't see any photo etch other than on a couple of those, if they are gun directors, I'm not sure, but we'll get those on. Yeah, all good. All right, I shall return again shortly. Hey, welcome back. So I thought I'd just cut in here and just show you something. So I'm working on these parts of step 54. These ones I've left on the little sprue connectors there just to make them easier to handle while I put the photo etch on. They went on easy. You don't have to bend them too much, and they're all done. Now these ones here are a little bit trickier. There's a base to go on, all right, and then there's some photo etch to go on. Now what you got to do is, if you can see that, but it goes around the bottom there, all the way around, and it actually sits. So if I bring this over, these, be careful here, will sit in here. So you will actually, all right, basically on there like that, and you will actually see that little bit of detail that's added there, sort of, if you've got really good eyesight. So don't be, you'll see there's the piece there. All right, so there's one goes on each. There's just a straight piece you've got to bend. Don't be threatened by the look of bending something like that. It's really not hard at all. Okay, the tricky part of this is, believe it or not, there's some writing on there that looks like it's possibly in Japanese. Even with these on, I'm having a difficulty work out whether they're numbers or Japanese characters. I'm not sure, but it's part of the detail. So to put these on, it's not difficult, right? So all you need to do, and I've shown this in my videos before, is you put your piece down. That's the advantage of having these foam pieces. They're fairly solid, but they are a little bit flexible. These pieces come out of the box of the Yamato. These are the 2 end pieces at each end of the hull that provide protection of the bow and the stern. So what you want to do is grab yourself something round like this, And for this, I'm just using one of the icky sticky applicators on there. And what you want to do is simply just applying reasonably even pressure, just roll it along. And you'll see, you'll get that curve. See, already we're getting there already. All right, it's come up all right. Now, all you do is just keep going until you form a full curve. All right, so we'll do it again. Now, again, try and keep it straight while you're doing this, so that you want to try to get the ends to meet. We'll do one coming back the other way. And I think that's about it there. There we go. So they're almost touching. They don't have to be touching, and it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't have to look perfect at this stage. You just want to get that basic shape so that when you go and put it onto here, remembering that that lettering or numbering, whatever it is going to be pointed towards the front. You simply just pop it on like this. It's a little bit fiddly, but it does work. Get it in there like that. And start at one end. So once you've got the basic position of it, of where it's going to go, which is there, and that's going to bend to there. That will go around like that. Okay. There it is there. So what I'll do is I'll come along with some medium CA. You could do the thin, doesn't matter if you're using these icky sticky products. I pop a little bit on there. I won't do it now, but right, so I'll put a little bit on there. Then I'll get my little applicator, which is my hand, I've had forever. And then you'll just touch it at the end. And then press the piece down and get that in. All right. And once that's stuck after a few seconds, you'll just move around and work your way around it, and you'll find that they'll join up perfectly, and you'll get your piece on. No problem at all. So yeah, it's not hard to bend those pieces. Just take your time with it. Roll it out slowly until you get that into roughly the right shape, and just sort of stick it around until it goes on, and then you'll end up with your piece sitting on there really nicely like that. Okay, so I'll keep going. This is well, it's not actually, we're halfway through step 54. We've got to do the it looks like the ship's horns are next, and a platform for those to go on, and then these will get placed on. All right, so I'll move on, and we'll come back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So what have I done? Yes, I put those pieces on. There's these two sat here with the rings around them that I showed you about putting them on. These 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back, and then we've done the horns, ship horns. There's one on each side. There's actually 2 more smaller ones there as well. There's getting quite a bit of stuff on here. You've got to be very, very careful where I hold it so I don't knock off any photo etch or anything. But there's quite a lot still to go. Now, one of the strange things I noticed is you see up there in the instructions, it said to build 4 of these, which I've done, and then it shows me up there number 39, which was the step 39, like putting them 4 together. We put 2 on, which we did. We put 2 on. Yeah, trying to hold this again. 1, 2 on there and there. But it doesn't tell me where these 2 go. And I've jumped ahead about 2, 3 pages, and I can't see where these go anywhere, which is strange. Maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, I don't know where they go. But anyway, I'll put them in a little container somewhere. like that, and I'll label them because I'm pretty sure they may come up somewhere down the track where we're going to need them. But yeah, strange. So I'll put them aside. So let's move on to step 55, which is sort of building up what looks like what this whole piece goes on top of. So it's the base underneath this. I'll whack the instructions up there in the corner, and you can see we've just got some large parts and a couple of little bits of photo etch. So yeah, let's get that piece together and put this somewhere safe out of the way. All right, be back shortly. Okay, so here we are with the parts for step 55. They're already clean. This was individual piece in the box that I just gave it a quick wash. It's almost dry now. And this is pretty much the base of the last part we built. So it's going to go under here. This will go like that. There you go. Yeah, how about that, eh? So, yeah, put that aside. So on here we just need these parts. We've got this section here that goes underneath. There's also struts to go, I think, under that in the next step. And this will go, there's a large slot there for that to go into, and it fits really nice and tight. I won't push it all the way in yet. That's going to go in the back of there. And then we have these parts here which go, let's see, there. Go in there on each side. No problem. Nice fit. And there's a bit of photo etch that goes around the windows here, which is really good because that I haven't taken them off the fret yet, but they'll make these holes a bit smaller and easier to fill with my MIG ammo clear glue to get that look. Now also, as you'll see, there's lots of portholes, so we need to start drilling those out as well. Yeah, so I'm going to start drilling them out first, then put all these pieces together, and we'll come back and have a look when that's done. It's pretty basic. If there's any problems, I'll stop and we'll have a look. Okay, be back in a sec. Okay, so there's step 55 done. Got all the parts on there. We put these on each side. We've got the photo etch in the windows under there and there. This section came on with the cover below. So all the portholes are drilled out. All good. Let's turn the page and have a look at step 56. And looks like we've got photo etch, haven't we? Quite a few bits of photo etch, which will be placed, going by the looks of it, all under there. It looks like it's just supports for that, which should look quite good. Okay, so I'll get the photo etch out and ready, and we'll make a start on that. Okay, back in again in a second. Okay, welcome back again, and here we are with the next update. So all the supports under that platform are all in. I had no problems doing it. One tip I would suggest is on the instructions, as you can see there, it sort of shows you to put it all together first and then lower the whole thing onto here. But that's very, very difficult because of the way the pieces go. All those small cross sections go down, and then the two longer sections go down on top of them. You could do it that way they're suggesting if that was the other way around, but maybe. But what I did was there's location marks for all the struts along the bottom there. So I placed all these as I went, and then what I did was I used one of the long, let's say, horizontal pieces that as a template to make sure that they were lined up. So as I put 1, 2, 3 in, I'd fit that over the top, make sure they'd line up. Then I'd do the fourth one, make sure they line up. So the gaps are all accurate. which you can't go wrong, because like I said, there are marks there for these locations. And when they're all down, I just put the strut in there, pushed it in, and maneuvered it down, no problem. And this one here's a little bit smaller, and it went onto the front there. It's done. So yeah, it looks really good. So now what we got to do is turn that up the other way. I'll put step 57, which hasn't got much in it. There's step 57, is pretty much putting our bridge on top of this. So basically we need to put this on there. So like that. I'm just doing a test fit and it looks very, very good. Gaps look fine. Let me just turn it this way. There you go. Let's certainly put a bit of height into it. So yeah, so that gets glued down. And then the only other thing in that step to do is to put a ladder on the back here. There's a ladder to go on, and then there's some other doodad that goes here and on here each side. And that will be it for step 57. Yeah, so I will glue this on. The best way to glue this on, I think, let me just take that back off and have a look. You can see that fits well, that's staying on there. Yeah, I'll run just some Revell contactor. I'll put that all the way around on there, sit that on top, and then I might go along with some extra thin, just to put a layer around there as well, because we don't want that falling off out in the ocean, do we? All right, I'll do that, and then of course I'll get those other two, the little bit of photo etch and the other little piece, and we'll come back and have a look at it before we turn the page to step 58. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, back again. Here it is. I think I might have shown you, but it's glued on now. It's looking really nice. I've also done the, what was it? There's the ladder. There's a ladder on the back there. That was pretty much it. Oh, and there were two little pieces on the side down the bottom that are on. So yeah, going really well. Now let's have a look at step 58. Quite a big view there. We should be able to get through this pretty easily. It looks like we've got another few range finders to build. We've also got a few platforms to go down where there's some doors. Also platforms where there probably looks like there's going to be some machine guns mounted, I would imagine. Now there's a couple of spotlights in the center one there, and over to a bit more photo etch going down on the side there. So all right, let me plow along and get through all of that, and we'll see where we're at. All right, back again shortly. Hey, back again. Oh, it's been a long day. I've been enjoying it. It's coming along really well. So that's it. I've completed step 58 now, including all the little ladders. Don't know if you can see them. There's about there's 2, 4, 6 ladders going up to different platforms down in there. The spotlights or the signal lights are put on there. Everything's looking really, really good. I'll put a couple of photos up I took that I put up on Facebook. If you haven't seen me on Facebook, you can always check my details and, you know, add me on Facebook. You'll probably see things a little bit in advance of what I'm doing before you get to see the video. But anyway, yeah, it's good. So what we're doing now is turning over the page, moving on to 59. I already had a quick look at step 59, and as you can see there, another 3 views of the complete tower. Mostly ladders, Yeah, we've got ladders going on, and some more binoculars, I think they are. Not sure what they are. They're photo etch, and they have to be bent. We'll see when we get to them. But yeah, so I'll get on to that, and we'll have a look at these ladders. I'll show you also how I do my ladders too. Well, I'll give you a sample of one as we go along. Okay, all right, back shortly. Okay, so I've done most of the ladders. I just realized I said I was going to show you how I do one of them. So this one here, I've just folded the railings up on either side. Make sure when you're doing this you fold them the correct way, because the railings are on the outside as people go up and down. You want to make sure you fold them the right way. It shows you in the instructions, but it's not all that clear. But otherwise it's fine. So with this one, this is done quite no problem at all. You do both sides of the railing. It's going down pretty visible right down from one of the high levels down to that deck. So what I'd also do, and it's going to be too hard to show here, is you bend up all the stairs. Okay, so all the stairs need to be bent up, and it's just a matter of getting your tweezers in there and just moving them like 45 degrees all the way as you go down. Okay, it's not hard to do. Just got to take your time. You need very narrow pointed tweezers to be able to reach in there and get them. Okay, so I will continue to glue this one on and keep going. I'll be back in a sec. And in fact, just while I was saying that, I was thinking, oh no, I hope those other ones didn't have stairs, because I didn't bend any of them, but they're all ladders, they're not stairways, so lucky for me. All right, so yeah, so basically it's just a matter of starting at the top, grabbing that first step and twist it just like that. That's all it takes. You just work your way down. The photo etch is quite good here. It's quite strong photo etch, so it's quite forgiving. But having said that, you do want to try not to move them more than you have to. Try and get it right the first time, basically. Okay, so yeah, that's going well. I know it's too hard for you to see, but all right, I'll be back. Okay, welcome back. So we've done all of step 60 now. So there was a couple little lights to go on either side, and another little platform, another signal light, but it's all done now. It's getting very difficult to handle this because there are so many little aerials on here and places that could get knocked off. But there it is. Now this whole piece now is, as far as I can tell, there's nothing else to go on this. So what I will do is, although there is actually the whole radar unit, so I'll quickly put step 61 up there. You can have a look. We've got to build that, which takes up another 1, 2, 3 steps before it's put on top of here. But what I'll be doing is, because it sits down on top of here, anything in there would be difficult to paint with that on. So that will be a separate subsection that'll be painted separately, same as this. But this is complete up into the stage of having to paint it now. So this I'm going to put away somewhere very, very safe, not sure where, that I can keep this, that it's not going to get damaged. And so we can go on and move on to the section above that goes on here and includes the radar area. All right, but that will be in the next video, part 13, because this has been going long enough. We've done a lot of progress on this bridge forward structure. It's come up really, really good, especially all the ladders and stuff. All right, so, okay, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notifications bell so you get notified of the videos as they come out every week at this stage. Your comments are welcome below. Share with me your thoughts and any tips and ideas, as I know a lot of you are also building this as well. Or just introduce yourself in the comments and say hello if you're a new subscriber. I'm getting quite a lot of new subscribers that are very interested since I started building Yamato. I'm taking on between 5 and 10 new subscribers every day, and it's fantastic. So say hello in comments. Let me know. Just say hello. Let me know where you're from. And yeah, so all right. So give us a thumbs up too if you like the video. And I'll see you all next time in part 13 of our 1-200 Yamato build. Okay? Thanks a lot, guys. See you all then. Bye for now.